I have in my hand a universal remote control which can control up to 3 different devices. It's available with low-cost postal option directly from freetv.ie, and it's to cover the following circumstances where we've either lost a remote control for a particular device, or we have multiple devices, as in this case up to 3, and we want to be able to control them all directly from a single remote control. These are great. We've tested them both here in our test lab, and also we've given them out, tested them in a few of our employees' homes, and actually with some of our customers as well. And we've been able to set up sky boxes, various different types of TVs, all the rest of it. And not only have we been able to set them up, we've been able to set them up on multiple devices in a matter of 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so it's very, very straightforward here, and they've kept it extremely simple. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to catch the low-hanging fruit here simply by picking out what's the 10 most common satellite receivers, what's the 10 most common types of TVs, and what's 10 most common types of DVDs, and programming the codes for those in a very easy manner. Now there's other, if you have less known brands, you can still use these remotes with it, but maybe not quite as quick and handy as these are. So I'm going to give an overview of exactly how we're going to do it. Now what we've done is we have a user manual that comes with each remote control. It just covers exactly how this is going to work. But let's just come along here. So the first thing to note is we have all the functionality in the remote itself, and we have 3 options here on it. So when we come along and we want to start programming up the box here, or the remote control here, we have to tell it that we want to go and we're in programming mode, and what are we trying to program it for? A TV, a satellite, or a DVD player? And when we are entering the code here in a moment's time, I'll just show you this sheet here. You probably won't be able to focus in too well, but on the column here, it's numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, all the way down to 0, and it lists the top 10 TVs, the top 10 satellite receivers, top 10 DVD players. So for instance, Bosch here is numbered 1, LG is number 3, Sharp is number 7, and Toshiba will say 0, okay? And that'll become relevant in a few moments' time. So what we're going to do for the purpose of this film, or this video, is we'll say, pretend the TV we're trying to program into is a Samsung, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come along, I'm going to press the magic button here, I hold it in for about 3 seconds or so, the button light flashes twice, I hit the mode button, and it says, oh, it's a satellite receiver I'm trying to tune, a DVD player, oh no, it's actually a TV. Okay, so in this case, TV. And now what I do is I come along and I say Samsung number 6, and I press it in and I hold it in like this. Now I can hold it in for a maximum of 36 seconds. And the reason 36 seconds is, what's happening now is it's saying, okay, it's a Samsung TV. In our memory here, we have codes that are specific for Samsung TVs. So I'm going to say, RU code 7742. We'll say just that was a 4-digit code that's allocated to Samsung. And if yes, what it's doing is saying, I'm setting an off signal now. And if the television switches off, you release the button instantly. And then you've got a television that's off. The remote control says, hang on, the guy has released the remote control here. It's the last code I entered is the code that's for this television, and it saves it to memory. So if we come along now and hit the power button here, it'll turn the television back on. And in that 15 seconds, we'll say this remote control will have been programmed up to work your TV. So what we do there is, and if that works, then that's absolutely super. Now if it doesn't work, there's a fallback plan. I'll just cover this very briefly here. So it's covered in the direct codes thing here. So what will happen here is, we're coming along, we're going to press the magic button as we did before, and then we'll look and we'll see, well, what's the next step of it here? Will we go to the mode and say it's a TV we're trying to do it? And now, instead of pressing down, we'll say button number 8 or something like that, for a particular brand of TV. What we're doing is we'll be entering a 4-digit code. And we get the 4-digit code by simply going to the back here, looking up the brand of TV, and we'll find a 4-digit code for it. So for instance, if I come along here and in the TV range here, I said I'm going to go for an LG, well, let's go for a lesser known brand. There's a brand here called Lavis, Lavis, and the code for it is 1037. So I'll type this in. I'll see does it, when I press the off button afterwards, to turn the TV off, and if it doesn't turn the TV off, I'll just enter the next code and keep going through, okay? And we should be able to get it that way. Now there's a very slow method that we can use if all else fails, which will come along, and it's just a direct search method. I won't cover it here, but you can just see the steps in it. And what it's basically doing, it's going through every almost conceivable code of television, and it just works through laboriously. You just keep pressing down the button here, the channel up button, and eventually when it turns off, you release it, and you say, it's the last code was the one for my particular TV. So let's just go back and pretend it worked on step number 1, which in 99% of the cases it will. So you come along and you've released the button, button number 6, and it's programmed in for your particular one. What we do now is we say we're going to move on and we're going to tune in, we'll say, our satellite receiver. So we'll say, okay, I have a Samsung, or we'll say I have a Sky satellite receiver. So it's button number 1. So what we'll do again is magic button, it flashes. Use the mode button to go over to the satellite receiver, press button 1, hold it, and when the Skybox turns off, release it, and then all of a sudden, when this is in Sky mode or in satellite mode, it'll work your Skybox for you. And you repeat that again if you had a DVD player. It can handle that as well, and it's exactly the same process all the way through. So it's extremely quick, extremely efficient use of your time. When we tested this in some of our workshops and in some of our employee homes, we're able to get this up and working on, we'll say, 2 or 3 devices in less than 2 or 3 minutes, because it's just fast and efficient. There's not lots and lots of entering codes. In the vast majority of times, if you have a very common type of TV, and those top 10 codes will probably represent about 90% of all the TVs that are sold in Ireland or the UK each year, it'll just work automatically by entering those codes in. So it's very, very clever. They put an enormous amount of effort into keeping the steps and the codes up to date on it. And we have a great deal in terms of our pricing on these remote controls. So we're able to offer them at a very, very competitive price into the market. And hopefully this video here is adding value to people as well. But this really does work, and not alone does it work, it's easy to use and it'll work with your TV. So that's it anyway, an overview of the remote control capable of working up to 3 devices.